Hey guys, this is Pedro back with another interview covering this time the LEC Summer Split for 2024. For this occasion, I'm here accompanied by Wunder of Team Heretics, who coming off of a loss to G2 Esports at the end of the regular season of said split. And so, Wunder, like I said before, thank you so much for taking the time and just covering that first and foremost. Losing to G2, a well-regarded opponent. Just sort of walk me through how you're feeling at this moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? It's a loss. It doesn't really matter who it's against. It's always gonna sting a little bit, right? That said, it's we are locked to playoffs. No matter if we won or lost, we would have been. I think the difference would be us being sixth or fifth, which I think, in the grand scheme of things, is probably not gonna play too much of a difference. The game itself, I think, was winnable. Uh, G2 maybe also trolled a bit around, right? Who knows? You don't really know. But I think we played well. For the most part, I think maybe I made like a couple of mistakes that were not so good, and we made mistakes with Nash when we went a bit too deep, I think, as a team. So a winnable game that we lost. That in the end doesn't matter too much, but it's good that we could have a competitive game at least against G2, and we just didn't get like mega stomped. So yeah, I mean, happy about that, I suppose.
Was the fact that you guys already had this, have already known that you guys were locked in playoffs no matter what, did that kind of change the team's approach for this match, or was it just like the usual preparation that you guys made even before today and stuff like that?
I mean, we had prepared to like our preparation was made without us being locked, right? So we were only locked after the first game of the day. So we came in prepared, doing what we normally do, right? And yeah, I mean, it wasn't enough to take the win today. I think our preparation was good though, everything aside, right? And we had the tools to win, and we just didn't manage to close it out in the end. But we were not taking the game lightly. Yeah, I mean, and I guess it's hard to say if the game would have been played out differently if we were not locked. That's just hard to say. I guess we'll never really know. Maybe we would have be more nervous. Maybe we would be more focused. Who knows? It's hard to say.
But at the end of the day, you guys are locked in playoffs, and that's what really matters at the grand scheme of things. Going back into the game, arguably, one might say that the biggest obstacle to the team experience, on the role wise or just individually, just broken blades of Doctor Mundo, and just how how much of a thorn he was to the team's to the Heretics offensive game. Trying to pick him out, but just kept on rehealing itself. Just more so just focusing on that, how much of an obstacle was that, for the team in a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, this game, both sides have like a front to back draft, right? They have like the two AD carries, and we have the Asir plus the AD carry, right? It's like very much a team fight. Whoever can do more damage to the tank probably wins the fight, right? Because you have to get through the walls basically. And yeah, this game they had like better tools to kill me, and Mundo was a lot tankier at certain points than I was. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a hard game to play in that regard. We did have, I think, a little bit more tools. Let's say we had like the Asya shuffle, we had Sejuani ult. I also think as much as Mundo is tanky, Cassandra has like options to maybe like catch out a carry or something. And I think we did well to some extent when it comes to utilizing those tools. Right, we had like some good moments. But in the end, well, yeah, just wasn't enough, and I guess their front to back prevailed over us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now just kind of moving on, or outside of just focusing on this game, of course, heading into this week, you guys were in the midst of a three-game losing streak. I might be wrong. You can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But still, not really in that position of just getting into playoffs much more easily. But you guys were able to do that, taking down Fnatic in the first match of this week. But of course, obviously, weren't able to do that the same against G2. But still, going from not being in a comfortable position in making playoffs and then making playoffs after this week. What's kind of the mindset now? What is the mindset now for this team just having to make playoffs off of a pretty rough stretch during this regular season.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very stressful week, of course, since we, as you said, we came into the week on a. I mean, you might be right on the 3 games. I'm not sure, but we were on a losing streak for sure. And well, about to face Fnatic and G2, which are like the well amongst the strongest teams in the region, right? So yeah, I mean, for sure, a stressful week of practice. Well knowing, I think everyone well knowing that we could potentially be playing our last week of the split if things don't go our way. So yeah, I mean, I think winning against Fnatic, we were pretty certain that we were probably gonna. I mean, we were at least secure the tiebreaker for our spot, right? So we didn't actually have to beat G2. So going into today, I mean, we were pretty relieved, I guess, in that sense. But yeah, I mean, what it means going forward for us now is, well, we have more time to try and get our stuff together, right? I think we have been playing pretty bad. We have not really been improving a lot throughout the weeks either. So yeah, I mean, hopefully us realizing now that, well, now we are in it, most likely also in it for the well Worlds qualification that comes after the playoffs. I don't really know how the points work yet, but we at least like winning maybe 1 BO3 will secure it. I'm not sure yet. So yeah, with that being said, I think now we just have to focus on one specific team that we will be given right in the bracket, and we focus a lot of our attention to that and how to beat them, and we'll hopefully make it far like this.
Yeah, you mentioned a little bit right there, just sort of focusing on now the team's form throughout this entire season. Not just focusing on this, but it's been kind of an up and down kind of year for this Heretics squad. You know, mostly roaming within the mid table of the league. You sort of mentioned about the team's form, as I said. What do you think has been the biggest causes for the team to just not play as well as you would have wanted the team to play?
Yeah, I mean, throughout the year, I guess there has been different iterations of Heretics. I think maybe we are the team that perhaps changed the most. I mean, we have had like different mid, different support, coaching staff changes, right? So I definitely think, well, last split in playoffs, we got 2-1 by Fnatic. I think that was probably like our best form so far compared to the rest of the league. I think on a different day, we could have maybe gone to beat Fnatic, and they were ended up being the second best team. And I think in practice as well, last split we were doing well. I think now we have kind of regressed, maybe not in how we play, but compared to the rest of the league, we have regressed in well how we would rank amongst them, right? And yeah, I mean that is something we are trying to get back at. We are trying to well, you would want to be the team that improves faster than everyone else in the league, right? And we just haven't been that. And yeah, I mean, there's various reasons for that. I think maybe we focused a little bit too hard on maybe like the lane swapping. Maybe we played some of the wrong champions that don't really suit us and didn't make like, yeah, good preparation when it comes to that. And yeah, I mean, that's just how it is, right? Like now, we are locked playoffs, and in playoffs things are usually different. I think if we have a good week of practice leading up to playoffs, we will hopefully be able to beat any team. This week we had competitive game with G2. We won against Fnatic. I'd like to think that it wasn't just a fluke, right? And we can actually perform at the level if we set our minds to it, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Yeah, shades of the potential of this team did show at the very least for this week and also a few parts during this season. One more question before I wrap it up. Now going to playoffs, as of the time of the recording, we don't know exactly who Heretics will face. Nonetheless, how are you guys going to approach playoffs? Just with all of this thing that you've kind of been describing in mind.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but I suppose playoffs is going to be on a new patch, right? So of course the first step is figuring out what's good and what's not, right? If anything even changed at all. There's also going to be a bit of a longer break because of this well, I mean, mini MSI or whatever you want to call it that's happening, right? So we are going to have a bit longer break to kind of like figure things out. And yeah, I mean the approach. Well, I'd say it's very likely that we are going to play teams that we have played in playoffs before, because throughout this year we have played, I think, BDS, SK, and Fnatic, and those are like I think we are probably likely to play either one of those teams, and yeah, we'll see what happens, right? I'm confident to actually beat everyone in Europe. I think uh, some teams have gotten better, but I think when it comes to a BO3, I don't actually think a team is like that clear favorite in Europe. Maybe you could say G2, right? But I think when you take G2 aside, the rest of them, I think it's a toss up, honestly. And yeah, we are gonna try and prepare best possible to win that coin toss, right, and make it in our favor.
And hopefully able to do exactly that and then some. Wunder, thank you so much for taking the time once again for doing this interview. Thank you for answering all my questions, and of course, best of luck goes to you moving forward.
Thank you.